What's up, guys? This episode of Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by Blue Apron. Not all ingredients are created equal. Fresh, high-quality ingredients make a real difference, so it's important to know where your food comes from. Choose from a variety of new recipes each week, or let Blue Apron's culinary team surprise you. A couple upcoming meals include spinach and fresh mozzarella pizza with olives, bell peppers and ricotta salata, and sweet and sour salmon with bok choy, carrot, and ginger fried rice. Does that sound good, Kev?
Yep.
Yes, it does. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/gamecast. So that's Gamescast without the S in the middle of it. It feels and tastes good to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. Right now. Do it. blueapron.com/gamecast. Blue Apron. It's a better way to cook. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 116 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Hello, I'm wearing a purple shirt.
And joining us once again to maintain her title of most often reoccurring Kind of Funny Gamescast guest, Andrea Rene.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me back, guys.
Yes,
I'm so
been a
glad to
while.
be here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah.
I don't know, what was it last year?
Last time we did something together, I think was Kind of Funny Live.
Well, yeah,
Officially.
we've done. Well, she's been around. I mean,
Well, yeah, you're always
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
but
Yeah,
in
we
terms
did
of
some stuff
content.
in the fall.
Yeah.
After. Yeah.
Did we?
Remember? Because I came on the show and did a reacts with you
yes,
guys. And
you're
That
right.
was, yeah. That was it.
You were here the day the studio launched.
That's right.
Day one.
Right? Yeah.
I forgot what we reacted to, but we did.
I don't
The
remember. either.
PS4 Slim was announced.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's what we react to.
That was a big
Okay.
hit. What do you got?
The chocolate's falling. So you guys.
Okay.
Do you remember last year
Mm-hmm.
when you had me on in April? It was right before Easter, and I brought you an Easter basket.
Batman. There was a Batman.
So in the tradition of
Yay.
cheesy Easter baskets,
I love it.
Wow.
this has some kind of off-brand Nerf.
Oh, good. I love
stuff
knockoff
on
Nerf.
It.
Yeah, knock off Nerf.
It has one little packet of Mike and Ike's, some
Okay.
Alright.
Smarties.
Okay.
When's the last time you had Smarties?
Too long.
Too long, and then some that. But I have the
Some of that, the
some
fruit
of that,
snacks.
the fruit snacks. But we also have the fave
Jelly
red
beans.
jelly beans.
Nice.
The Starburst jelly beans, and of course some chocolates.
Oh
Now,
my
do you
God.
are you a big Easter fan, or is it just your shtick now when you come by here? You want to bring something?
Well, I thought we should make a tradition
I like it.
of me being on the Gamescast
Okay,
right before Easter.
okay.
I'll always bring you some kind of Easter basket.
Appreciate it.
I do love Easter candy.
Sure.
I don't generally celebrate Easter. I did as a kid, but I just don't anymore
Sure.
as an adult. But I'm like, ooh, chocolate eggs.
Yeah.
I'm
An
in.
excuse to sit around on a Sunday and eat chocolate.
Easter
yeah.
candy.
Exactly.
Can't say I'm the hugest fan of it as a genre.
Yeah.
Because Easter candy, I think, peeps.
Oh no,
No,
never
you got to think of
peas.
those little chocolate eggs
the
that have
Cadbury
Chocolate
eggs.
Cadbury
and
eggs. I
not
don't
the big Cadbury
Those
egg.
things. Oh, okay, well,
The
I
mini,
fuck with that
the mini
though.
ones.
Yeah, the mini ones. You know what I'm talking about.
me
that.
Like that shell that eventually chafes the inside of your mouth. But
Yeah.
Right, and like the
It's worth it,
chocolate
though.
bunnies that are hollow on the inside.
Can I
I
open
love
it?
the
I want,
YouTube
Yeah,
videos
okay.
I want to
of
get the
them
rocket
melting
going.
with the like hair dryer when you put that against the chocolate bunnies and they're all like melting away. It's great. My favorite thing.
Kevin,
in the
does this
entire
sound
world.
good?
How good does it sound?
It's not terrible.
I thought about
Way enough.
what's
Oh, you
interesting
look-
about this.
You look pretty bad. What's happened? What's that on
Oh,
your
there you
face?
go.
What do you mean?
You got
looks
like
like-
a spotlight or
You
something.
look like Bizarro Kevin. Like your makeup's wearing off, and you're gonna start
can't-
talking backwards.
some kind of a light coming from somewhere.
I thought about it. Well, first off, I have two things that both apply to the Game Over Greggy show.
Okay.
Number one, we just had Lauren Lanning back on the show.
Yes.
Lauren Lanning, his last appearance on the Game Over Greggy show was also an April episode.
Ooh.
So it's one of those things that just casually happened. But then the other one was I thought about, and I mistimed it because I wanted to do it the week before Easter, coloring eggs on the show.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be fun.
And then I blew it, and I didn't do it in time. And then I was like, well, maybe we should build Easter baskets because I do miss getting the Easter basket and putting that really crappy plastic glass in there,
Yeah,
or grass in there, not
plastic-
glass. Whatever kid loves to play with. Glass.
Exactly. Flying disc. I probably shouldn't throw. Should I try to?
Oh,
Do
go
it,
for
come
it.
on.
What's the
Okay.
worst gonna happen?
I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to throw this to Kevin in the studio. I'm left-handed, so I have to throw this way.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, what got
I
to him?
almost made it.
Oh my God. That was crazy. Come on. No,
That went really far.
this didn't. Oh. Damn, that thing has.
Get him again.
These knockoff Nerfs are like not childproof.
Hey, Andy, can I have your help for a second?
Uh-oh. Look out, Maximum Cortez.
No, hold on.
I'm gonna get you, fucker.
What the hell? Oh, you have to.
I don't know if
Man,
that
this
one
thing's
works.
awesome.
Tim, you turn the
Yeah.
top. No,
No.
just-
Knock off Nerf,
No?
deadly weapon.
For the people that are listening
Oh, yeah.
and
This
can't,
has just
and
been
can't
insanity.
see what Greg was doing, it
doesn't have
essentially
much.
is a foam, almost looks like a barbell.
Yeah,
Like the middle
yeah.
of a barbell.
Right.
And there's a push
pump
plastic
kind of thing.
pump on one end and then a blue
got it once.
spout on the other end. So you.
It's like a blow dart gun without having to blow into it.
Exactly.
And if you get, all right, Kevin, this isn't a one-upmanship thing. All right.
Kevin actually has one of those
Like shoots giant needles.
yeah.
Why do you have that,
Because
Kevin?
he's Kevin and he used to practice. Like I'd come over and he'd just like casually be laying on his bed shooting freaking needles at the wall, like a crazy person.
All right, I'm going to eat this chocolate bunny.
Okay, I'm gonna eat one of the ladybugs.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm going for a bunny.
We have sidewalk chalk too, guys.
Sidewalk
Ooh.
chalk. Man.
Ooh,
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hollow! My favorite.
Oh my god.
This entire Easter basket is here to hurt people.
Sorry, Tim.
It's okay.
How you doing?
It marked me.
Sure did.
Yeah. All right.
All
Ladies and
right.
gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
When you
Every
get there,
week
give me
we
Sky
get
Cam if
together,
you can, all right?
talk about video games, all the things we love about them, and sometimes we eat chocolate bunnies. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
thank you for bringing
This is-
props. We always enjoy a good prop
Ready?
here.
My
Yeah, I'm ready. Are
pleasure.
you? Sky Cam. So,
Ooh.
word find game. All right, make it a little harder than Easter being the first word across the top, all right?
Oh, yeah, they didn't try to hide that at
Come
all.
on, guys.
There's a maze, though. I love mazes.
I do like mazes. I do like a good maze.
Man.
All right, it's been a good show.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
show. So thanks for having me.
Is that a bruise? You already have a bruise from what he shot at
I'm
you?
already marked.
Uh-oh.
It shot out way harder than I thought it would.
I'm
You
gonna
just
shoot-
want people to look at your biceps on
yeah.
camera.
Hold on, hold
That's
on.
what I want.
You can't.
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
a mark.
Well,
Be careful with your Easter
it
baskets at
also
home,
shot
kids.
completely straight, which I didn't think it was.
That
gonna.
was intense. That was intense. So let's talk about some video games.
Yes, let's.
Prey.
Yes.
Let's talk about Prey. You got to see it.
Yes, I got to play. So Bethesda has teamed up once again with I Am 8-Bit. Love those guys,
Yes.
Mr. Gibson and crew, to do this really cool community fan event with Prey. And they have a couple different cities where they're letting some fans get hands-on time with the game, and then they're playing space movies. So the movie that they played here in San Francisco was Starship Troopers.
Classic.
Great movie. I think they are doing The Matrix. They did Moon in Austin, and Total
Matrix
Recall,
was
I
a
think, is the other
space
one.
movie.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely.
Aren't we being harvested by alien? Who's harvesting us?
Yeah.
The machines? Computers?
Machines.
Yeah, it's. I think sci-fi is really
Gotcha, yeah.
probably a better.
That's
I'm
there you
being
go. That's
picky.
a
right.
better
yeah.
classification
Prey,
than space.
sci-fi,
That's
yeah.
that's my fault for saying that. But
Now, real quick, what is your? Have you played any Prey? Have you
I have
watched
not
any of our
played
stuff
at
on
all.
it? Okay.
I watched you guys play a little
Okay.
bit at PAX.
Yeah.
I've seen clips of the Let's Play that you and Nick did.
Yeah.
I know Nick's real into this.
Yeah, well, no, remember, that was the thing. To bring you up to speed, Nick, we sent Nick to the first Prey preview event. He played it for it, came back, showed me the footage. I went from whatever, I don't care about this game, to being like, oh my God, I can't wait to play this game. Played it at PAX with Nick, and so now I'm totally in. I can't wait.
yeah, the game looks fantastic. I was at that same event that Nick was at, and after I played it, I was like, I don't need to see anymore. I'm
Yeah.
buying this game. So it's from Arcane, the guys who made Dishonored. It's
Yeah.
the same team that made the original Dishonored, because now Arcane has two studios, and so the team that worked on Dishonored 2 is the other team.
Sure.
And it's a action adventure sci-fi game. It's, I'm hesitant to call it a shooter, even though there are shooting mechanics. It doesn't feel like the main mechanic of the game is shooting.
Sure.
A lot of people bring up BioShock.
Yeah, what I love about it is it gives me that Bioshock feel.
I think it gives it a feel and tone for sure.
Sure.
Mechanics, definitely not. BioShock had a lot of shooting mechanics that were really well done. And I haven't seen enough of Prey's gunplay to really determine how extensive the shooting mechanics are. But there's a lot of other things going on in the game. So you play this engineer named Morgan Yu, and you can choose to be a female Morgan or a male Morgan, which I love. And the characters in the universe will react to you differently depending on which gender you pick, but it doesn't gate any content
Oh, nice.
for anyone that's worried about that. All the stuff will be.
I thought you'd only get 75% of the content.
Well, I mean, sometimes people will react to you differently depending on how you build your character in some games, and
Sure.
so you get access to some content that you don't, and you have to go back for another playthrough. What's cool about this game is that it really. You make choices that affect the end game, but you maybe don't know what those choices are in the moment that you make them, which I think is really neat. So you wake up kind of on this space station. You find out that this alien threat called the Typhoon or the Typhon, that's what they're called, the Typhon, have kind of taken over, and they mimic things in the world. So you could walk into a room and not see an alien, but then all of a sudden, like, your coffee cup will jump at you and start attacking you.
If I
Tim's
had a
worst
nickel.
nightmare.
So it's a really neat process of you going through this space station, figuring out, what happened to the people on board, who is this alien threat, just how extensive, their reach into,
Sure.
Humanity is. And it's got this really cool, like, dark, suspenseful, kind of gritty sci-fi thriller vibe.
The alien vibe.
Yeah. The music is awesome.
It's like Drive music. That whole opening, right in the beginning, before you even know, where you're in the helicopter and you go up, and that soundtrack they play behind you, you're like, oh my, that was for me when I was like, this was, you get powers and you get to manipulate. I'm sure you did in your or what you played, but like in that first section, they didn't even show you any of that, and it was like, holy crap, this is so cool. There's so much style.
I feel like everything should have Drive music.
Sure.
It just makes it better. Drive music, and everything should be blue and pink. There's a neon blue and pink.
No,
Makes
you're
it
making good points there. You're making good points.
I mean, neon may be against the theme of this
Of
game
Prey.
a little bit.
Perhaps.
But yes, I love neon as well. So the demo that I played today was a little bit farther into the game. You enter this section of the world called Psychotronics, where you get this psychoscope, which is like a headlamp looking thing that allows you to scan aliens, and scanning the aliens as you come across them allows you to unlock alien powers in the skill tree. And so you have to make a choice as a player. Do I want to build out my human skill set, or do I want to put points into the alien skill set? And the more points you put into the alien skills, the more alien you become. And so people in the world start reacting to you differently as if you decide to become more alien than human throughout the game process. And there's things called like automated turrets in the game that will shoot aliens. So if you come across an alien and you run back to where you saw a turret, the turret can play defense for you. But if you are turning into an alien, the turrets will eventually turn on you and start shooting you instead of shooting
That's cool.
just the aliens.
That's
so
awesome.
it's
So
a really
what
interesting
other powers are there?
So they had the skill trees, I believe, are a scientist, engineer, and there's a third one that I didn't write down. And then essentially, like, some of your basic skills, like sneaking and stealth, being able to scavenge and craft stuff, being able to build certain things, like you can build. They have these machines where you can put resources in and build a variety of things. The crafting system is pretty neat that way.
Yeah, you were getting raw materials, right? They showed us this, and once you learn like the recipe for something, you can go there and make this gun. Because one of the story missions we saw early on, right? Yeah, was to go through, use these recycled materials to make this key card or whatever it was to get through the door to get over here.
Yeah, exactly. And then at some point, you'll be able to take the exotic material that you find in certain areas of the ship and create neuromods. And neuromods are what allow you to unlock skills inside the tree. And so you have to kind of make a decision, what kind of character do I want to play as? And they have a variety of difficulty levels. So if you want to, try one playthrough one way, you can go back and try another. They haven't confirmed to me yet if there's going to be a New Game Plus mode. I've asked them several times. They're like, we're not talking about that quite yet. But it seems to me ripe for New Game Plus.
What I liked the most about what I saw in the most recent demo was you can already see the seeds of how you can play this game differently. Because we were walking through and you had to get on the other side of this electrical, it's arcing energy out. And the guy's like, well, if you had invested your skills, you could fix that and that would change something in the world. But since you haven't, you can use one of your guns, the glue gun, I think it is, right? To shoot the glob over there to get it just temporarily frozen so you can get by it. And there is that thing of, you're going to get to things that obviously one character could get through easier, but you can try to figure your way out another way.
Yeah, it does seem really interesting that way, that you kind of choose your path through the world. They say if you kind of run straight through the game, it's around 20 hours.
Whoa.
But that it could very easily double in length depending on how many side quests you do, how much exploration you do, how creative you get with the glue gun. Because they kept saying, there are places that you can't reach, but maybe if you build a staircase with your glue gun,
you can
get up there and
crazy.
go see what's over there. And I think that's really cool. But what's great about it is that even though there is an exploration aspect to the game, it's not like a true open world. So even though you can explore within this space station, it's not an endless exploration. I don't like going all over an open world because I feel like I'm wasting a lot of time.
Sure.
Because there's not something everywhere you go in the open world, but I like it how it's contained, but yet still has an exploration element.
That was the neatest thing in the last demo they did for us, where the mission was that we had to go out into space, into zero G, come back around and go into this blown out section. And when we were out there, they were like, it's weird to say you're an open world game when you're a space station, but they're like, this is what we mean. And the fact that there's going to be derelict pods around here, there's going to be things floating through you can go get. Like, we want you to explore this section of open space like you'd explore the inside of the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
20 hours sounds surprising to me. Like, this seems more like, just from what I've seen from the trailers and stuff, it seems like more like a 10 to 12 hour type story based game, right? But
I mean, it's story based, but it is the thing of how do you want to go off the beaten path? Because like it's the class thing there. Are you going to read the emails? Like when you go in there and you go to the terminals, so much backstory, so much stuff. What I loved about it, I don't know if you got to see it, is like, you know, emails have people's names on them, and then every character in the game is like the mimics have infected and made their own. So like you're killing people or finding people, and you can go into like the roster and find out this person's dead, this person's alive somewhere. Like every person, every character you interact with in that world has a name, and they have their own backstory.
That's
so,
cool.
Yeah, like you need to go find, like it was used in a objective sense for me, where it was like, all right, we know this person has this key card. Where are they? And so you found them and you set your path and you find them floating in zero G. So then you had to figure out a way to go back and get around to get it.
the initial trailer that came out at E3 like 2 years ago, I think, with the eye and the blood and stuff, like from what you guys have seen in the game, is there the kind of like survival horror vibe to it, and or like the kind of like scary shit happens, like not in a Dead Space way, but just in the, because that trailer was kind of scary.
Yeah, I think they're saving some of that, for player discovery, but they did talk to me about this one alien called the Nightmare. That's literally the alien's name. Essentially, if you get to a point where you invest a lot of points into the alien branches, the Typhon are going to recognize that you're doing that, and they won't see you as an ally. They'll see you as like a hybrid alien, and they send this thing called the Nightmare to come and execute you. And it's supposed to be like this big, bad, really scary
Nemesis
monster that's sent down to hunt you and like essentially just like kill you, which I think is super scary. And I wouldn't say it's survival horror, because that implies that there's a lot of like running away and resource management, and I don't really think that
Jump
there's
scares,
too much of that in this game, at least from what I've seen so far. But there is a thriller aspect for sure.
Thriller is a great way. Yes, the sci-fi thriller, I think, is the best way to look at it. Where it's even seeing what Nick played and then playing, the 30 minutes I did or whatever. The vibe I got off it was, it's a sci-fi world, but I am in control of it, right? Like the little mimics don't really scare me. They're an annoyance. They're gonna do this, and then it's like they'll turn down a hallway, and it's like
the phantom that's coming at you that looks like a humanoid, like blob coming at you. Those are a little bit scarier, but I don't think we've seen really scary ones.
And then it was these crazy weapons, these little, how are you gonna get through this puzzly area? And then there was like, for me, one of my favorite moments was the player or the build we had it so that I, as a player, could mimic things. Like I had gotten that ability. So to like run away from the bad guys, lose their sight, mimic a fire extinguisher, lay on the ground, and then the guy comes around and like as he passes and just keeps walking, then this fire extinguisher is like slowly rolling down the hall behind him. If he looks back, you stop and you sit there, be like, don't do anything. And then you get up there and you bust out and you fucking fight him.
That sounds awesome. So wait, so is there, if you mimic something, does that mean there's 2 fire extinguishers then?
No, you become the fire extinguisher.
And then you just kind of take it over.
Yeah, essentially. There's a whole bunch of backstory that you get to read, like in some of the terminals that explain, the scientific process behind mimicking. That's what the space station was studying, was the mimic process. So you learn more and more about that whole like technology as you progress throughout the game.
How does it control if you're a fire extinguisher?
I don't
a little
know.
clunky because you're like it's like left and right, but in the way it's supposed to be, where it's like this inanimate object like waddling down the hallway.
Got it.
You have like full command of your abilities and powers and things. Yeah,
I'm like really into this.
The game looks really cool. I mean, and everything I played in the build that I got to play was a PC build, but I played it with a controller instead of keyboard and mouse. And the game looks really great. It was running really smoothly. Didn't see any like glitch problems, and I'm really excited for May 5th.
Yeah, it's coming real soon.
Really quick.
May 5th, so that's like 2 weeks away from us recording this. Like, do you
I'm never
think,
going to get Persona done in time.
Yeah.
That's my problem. I'm never going to get Persona
That's
done
why
in
I
time.
waited to start.
Is this the next big game in that sense, or do you think this will kind of be like Dishonored was, where...
Yeah, no, it's definitely... I think it's probably even smaller than Dishonored. I might be speaking out of turn there, but it's not like a giant RPG. It's not that kind of a game.
I think it's going to be very interesting because I think what it'll apply to is what are you into? Like, what are you interested in, right? Whereas Dishonored, like, it's this, you know, murky, it's dark, it's not medieval, obviously, but it's like whatever, steampunk, or you know what I mean? Like, it's like thrown back as a throwback that way. Whereas this is, I think, easier to wrap your head around of like, hey, I mean, for me, again, I'm like playing it, I'm like, this gives me so many tones of Bioshock, where it's like audio diaries, awesome. Like, I'm invested in the world immediately. I want to know more about the character, and I do want, because you're finding messages like the trailer that you left for yourself. So to go through and be like, oh fuck, what the hell is going on? Like, that's why I'm interested to play it. And I think that's an easier thing to wrap your head around than what Dishonored's ad campaign was. And so for it to come out and be like, hey, there's this sci-fi story that is that what you want? Is that what you're in the mood for? And I think it's coming out at a very interesting time where we have, you know, there's been a bloodbath for the first part of the year here. Now there's a little bit of quiet before we get to E3.
Has its own little pocket. A couple weeks ago, we did that topic of all the games coming out before E3, and like Prey is kind of, I mean, Mario Kart is the week before, but that's, port. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I'm very interested to see how it reviews and how it ends up selling, like what the critical feedback, but also the consumer feedback is on this, because it is kind of like a lesser known franchise, but it is a franchise.
I wouldn't even like. I don't know why they decided to use Prey as a name, because I think it's sci-fi is like the only connective tissue between this Prey and the original Prey. I mean, you don't need to play that game at all. In fact, like, I don't know why you would want to go back and play that game before you play this game. But I think that it's going to resonate with people because there isn't anything else like this coming out in the year so far. Like nothing has been announced for even later in the year that's even similar to this type of a game. And
this strikes me as like it could make the same waves that like Wolfenstein did, where Wolfenstein just came out at the right time. And it's the same thing where Wolfenstein, sure, there's history to it, but it's rare to meet somebody who's like, I fucking love Wolfenstein. I'm a Wolfenstein fanboy, right? It's like, it's a name that has cachet, you know it's important. Then when you sat down and you played the New Order or whatever, Old Blood, whatever.
Yeah, the New Order's right.
It was, and then it was the Old Blood, right? Yeah, okay. Like when you sat down and played that, you're like, holy shit, this is great, and I didn't expect that. And that's kind of what Bethesda's been doing with these games, right? Coming out and being like, hey, we are making things that we believe in, that we think are cool, and we're gonna make sure you get those in your hands on those. And then what a success look like for that, I don't know. Yeah. But I think it's going to do better commercially and like maybe cachet wise than what Dishonored did. And I'm not talking about reviews.
Cachet, right? Oh,
I think in terms of people actually, more people caring about Prey, I think is what I'm saying.
Interesting, because I think people care about Dishonored a lot more than it sold.
And that's my thing. It
got drowned in a season of too many games. Yeah.
But that was the thing. Even when Dishonored 1 came out, it was like people who played Dishonored 1 loved Dishonored.
That was underground. Yeah,
exactly.
It was so good.
And so they told you play it, and then there was that groundswell of community saying how much they loved it. And I think Bethesda bought on that, or bid on that, because number one, they believed it. And number two, do something cool with it. You know, they want to see what Arcane can do, and then to put it out and have it be, all right, cool. And like it won IGN Game of the Year. It's not like this game didn't get like, you know, the buzz it needed, but it is a game that people are just like, it's not for me. Like that's not what I want. Whereas I think, hey, you want a sci-fi thriller where nobody really knows what the fuck's going on? Like it's all on a set at first, and then it's in a space station. People are gonna be like, yeah, it sounds fucking cool.
Absolutely.
And there's little hair monsters. Yeah.
Little hair.
That's what the mimics remind me of. They look like hairy little starfish. The little ones on the ground as they crawl around, right? They look kind of cute. Yeah. They're like, I wouldn't mind one of these guys.
I don't know if they look cute.
The little ones, not the big ones.
Yeah.
Not the big ones.
That's what they say.
The little ones.
That's what they say. Let us know in the comments what you think about Prey, if you're hyped or not. Let's move to the next topic.
Okay.
This one comes from NeoGaf.
Oh, good.
It's a topic from a user named Soldier. I thought it was interesting, and I thought that he had a lot of good stuff in his original post. So I'm gonna read the whole post. It's a little long, but I think it sets a good conversation.
Should I call Andy again?
No.
Okay.
That shit is dangerous.
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't know. You get marked permanently.
That's a different one. That was a different one.
I'm getting like weird.
Yeah, you're a pussy. That didn't hurt.
That doesn't work that way. All right. Between No Man's Sky. Between No Man's Sky, Street Fighter V, Final Fantasy 15, Mass Effect Andromeda, and now maybe Persona 5 of all things, this is now officially a trend that publishers are taking with their games. I now think it's the single worst thing to happen to video games. The thread, I don't have the title. Damn it, I fucked that up. Sure, there's the glass half full approach to this. Most publishers who release a shoddy, rushed out game would typically say, fuck you, got mine, and not bother making any fixes. There's also the strange middle ground example with Final Fantasy 15, which does not entirely get a pass, as it does have some narrative and gameplay flaws that should have been ironed out before release, but still alleging to address those flaws as well as add completely new and previously unplanned additions to the game, such as off-road driving and additional playable characters. But the most egregious examples are just far too terrible for this trend to continue. Mass Effect Andromeda is a technical embarrassment that plenty of people on staff must have noticed, but it was still shipped out anyway because fuck the fans, get it out there, and later tell them how much we care. Having a detailed roadmap of patches doesn't fill me with any relief. It just tells me that the game isn't worth playing at all until months after the patches, or even then, I'm personally lost all interest in ever touching the game. There was a brief moment where the argument could be made about, quote, early access console games, and it began and ended with Street Fighter V. If Capcom had released that game with a functioning arcade mode, the Fight Money store, and an almost complete online network, then this could have been the beginning of a unique trend with games getting out earlier so long as the core features were available. Instead, the Makoto walk animation levels of slow updates have decimated their sales and possibly any long-term interest. There's something to be said when every single fighting game released afterward had come out with 3 times Street Fighter's roster and with far quicker updates. And now this might happen with Persona 5. The circumstances may not be as shitty, the translation isn't bad, the streaming situation can be easily reversed, but it didn't have to happen. It was the one game I'm certain lots of people were hoping would release issue-free. My launch experience has been soured as a result, and if Atlas is going to come up with their own patches roadmap to polish the localization, I might just put the game down then and there. It's extremely rare for me to go back and replay a game 30 plus hours, and Persona games tend to go towards the hundreds. What's the point of playing a product that I know is officially inferior, especially when I can still put time toward the games that come out bullshit free? Imagine if Nintendo pulled this shit with Zelda or any of their other releases. I'm at a point where just reading the PR formatted letters that state how these fixes are the result of the fans and strong community feedback makes me want to puke. We aren't your fucking fans, we're your customers. If you really cared, you wouldn't have done us dirty to begin with. Again, not every instance of this is a No Man's Sky fuck up, but it's becoming more and more a common trend, and I for one am sick of it. Blah, blah, blah. There. What's your take?
Why are we throwing? I don't understand his Persona attack. I'm trying to find the news story. He's upset because of the translation people don't like, and the fact that the streaming thing. The streaming thing is like
that's not a
patch thing. That's not a patch thing. And then the translation shit I've seen. I mean, few people complain about. I've played maybe 25 hours of the game now, and I'm not there like, oh my god, it sounds like Persona. What are you talking about?
I don't think we need to like split hairs whether Persona should be included in that list. I think the topic that he's really hitting home about is games that are shipped that are not fully functioning, right?
Sure.
And then we have these giant day one patches, or worse, it takes a couple of weeks or even months before the game is, operational.
Sure. I've been citing you a lot recently because when the letter from Aaron popped up about Mass Effect and how we're going to fix it, we're listening to you, all this stuff, and you were like, I'm like 75 hours in. Like I'm happy you're taking care of your fans, but what about me?
Yeah, it's frustrating that now I'm seeing all these people come back and say, "Oh, the animations are so much better," and I'm like, "Well, I'm done now."
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna go back to Mass Effect until DLC is released, and then maybe I'll try to start another playthrough. It's certainly frustrating, and I understand. I think he really hits home there when he says, "We're not your fans, we're your customers," and that's something I think. To note the difference between the developers who create the game and the publishers who ship the game. Not very many companies are one and the same. Like very few people who actually make the code and do the art and write the narratives are actually like getting the discs in a store. They're not the same people generally. And what we're seeing is a lot of these giant publishing companies who have responsibilities to their fiscal year, to their shareholders, to their public stock price, say, hey, this game is in this fiscal year. If it doesn't ship in this fiscal year, it's going to screw up our financials. And so we have to get it out the door no matter what the cost. And that's really where we've seen a shift in a lot of games coming out half-baked because the publisher will say, well, we can just put a patch in, it'll be fine. Yeah. And the audience saying, but hey, you're asking us to pay $60 for a game that isn't ready to go.
Yeah.
And instead of thinking about your customers who are paying for this, you're thinking about your shareholders and your stock price and your profits above all else. And they should be going hand in hand because you can't make profits without customers.
Sure.
And that's why I get why a lot of gamers are really upset. Like they have a right to be upset. I mean, I was mad about all of the stuff that was wrong with Mass Effect because I love that team, but I know that BioWare wouldn't choose to send out a game that they knew was broken. That
they weren't
100% was EA's decision to keep the ship date as it was. You know, if that team could have gotten an extra 6 months, you don't think they would have taken it? Of course they would have.
Yeah.
But, you know, that wasn't their choice.
I mean, see, that's an interesting perspective too. But when you take it to the side of Square, like with Final Fantasy 15, like I'm sure they would have took another 5 years if they had the opportunity to. At some point, you do need to kind of just commit to
get
it.
it out, yeah.
And I'm sure there's so much business that we don't know. But it's like if March 21st or whatever was the date, like you got to get it done by then. And if you don't get it done by then, then you're going to ship a bad game, and that's going to have the repercussions that it does in terms of the feedback. But it's a weird balance between EA, at the end of the day, they're not being assholes for saying, hey, you got to get it done by now. Like,
right.
That's the commitment. That is, they're funding a game to be made in a certain way, in a certain time frame. And,
absolutely.
And it's like, you can only be like, oh, we need a little bit longer. We need a little bit longer. I mean, we're at a point now with games where there's no longer the holiday season. The entire year is full. So, oh, we need 2 more months. All of a sudden dramatically changes the game plan of EA as a whole. So it's like, you got to get the game out when you say you're going to get the game out.
But this all comes back to the fact that, like, I mean, as consumers and players and gamers or whatever, I mean, and mainly as consumers, we're not blame free in this. This is what we always talk about, right? Don't pre-order a game. Don't do this. Like leading into Mass Effect, right? I kept saying there's no way it's launching in spring. Something's wrong with that game. Why haven't we seen it? Why aren't we seeing it? And then they doubled down, and I was like, well, fuck, they must have something awesome on, and they just don't want to spoil it. And then they put out, and it's like, oh. And this then reflects back to everybody who was so upset about the Mass Effect 3 ending. And it was like, okay, if you're really upset about Mass Effect 3's ending, don't buy the next Mass Effect. And if you run out and you buy the next Mass Effect and then you're mad after the fact, like we as a culture continue to send the wrong message, right? And like this is the problem, and I'm part of it. Like right, like last night I tweeted out like I decided to take a break from Persona. I'm gonna play Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 3 finally.
Yeah.
I got the first trophy for the first section of the game, and then the next one crashed twice on me back to back.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wish I could say, man, that never happened. That was what happened in Episode 5 of Batman, and I was like, that's weird. Why is that happening? And then, of course, beyond that, I've had pretty good luck in terms of crashes with Telltale games, but there's problems with, you see people's saves getting eaten and this not working and da-da-da. And it's that thing of, if people like me continue to give them passes on everything, you can't be mad at them when it's fucked up.
Absolutely. I think the vote with your wallet kind of mindset, it gets complicated because the people like you need to keep supporting it because you're supporting things you like about it. You're not paying because of the stuff you don't like, right? I think for me, an example would be Nintendo games and the Wii U. I completely supported the Wii U, and I bought all the first-party Nintendo games that I love because I love those things.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like I am rewarding bad behavior because I didn't like the console, you know, and I didn't like the direction they were going with that stuff. However, I do want to support them putting out super polished, high-quality games. So I'm going to support those titles in that way, right?
Sure, and I mean, this is the problem, right? Is that we feel like if you fire off an angry tweet, you said all you need to say, but in reality, all these things have no teeth. Everyone on the internet, including, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm mad about this, blah, blah. And then you forget, you get excited, you get back on the hype train.
Well, that's what I'm saying with Mass Effect, for example. Like, the people that were mad about Mass Effect 3's ending, is the answer for them to not support Mass Effect Andromeda? Because supposedly you'd be supporting them doing something different.
But I mean,
right?
The argument would be like, okay, instead of jumping in full force, I'll wait and see what people think, reviewers.
That is absolutely fair. Like, don't pre-order, go for that. Sure.
I mean, I'm kind of split on the don't pre-order thing because I pre-order a lot of games because in my mind, if I'm going to be buying the game anyway, I might as well get the free bonus item that is being offered in the pre-order.
And just to be clear, I pre-order stuff all the time. I pre-order Persona Collector's Edition. Like, I'm not saying that's the answer necessarily, but sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I think the problem when we talk about games that are broken is that the standard seems to be different for every developer. I mean, I remember when Mass Effect first released, a lot of people on the internet were talking about, well, why does Bethesda get a pass with some of the janky animations that they have in Fallout in the Skyrim or Skyrim in Fallout 4 when, Mass Effect Andromeda is getting so much hate.
Sure.
It's like, why do certain developers, get to have glitches and bugs in their open world games and other developers don't? Like, the standard is so much higher.
Sure.
Like, why does Ubisoft get crucified for having bugs in their open world game, but other developers don't? And I think that's something that we as a community maybe need to reconcile and go like, yeah, why do we hold some developers to a higher standard and not others? I mean, maybe we should, recognize as fans of video games that making games is really hard. And one of the women who was targeted by some online hate, who used to work at BioWare, who was falsely accused of being in charge of the animation.
You made all the faces.
She was like, you guys really don't understand the complexity of what they're doing. And even I saw some stuff online about some people from other, studios who do animating saying like you can't compare what Naughty Dog does in Uncharted with what Mass Effect is doing with Andromeda. They're two completely different types of games, and the production schedules are wildly different, and they have different types of artists. And so it's really frustrating when people jump on a soapbox, and criticize the thing that we love without going, hey, like, that's somebody's work. Somebody put years 100%. Of their life into that work, and you have no idea what it takes to make that, but you're so quick to say, oh, you fucking suck, I'm never giving you money again. Like that,
which of course
that makes me sad.
History has shown you will give them money again. You're just mad in the moment at what's happening here and all these different things, and that's why it's such a weird, complex situation of taking developers who are artists and pairing them with publishers who are businesses, and being like, okay, this is how. I mean, how can you get something like that delivered on time? How can you not have it turn into Final Fantasy, into Last Guardian, have it just go on and on and on? Because of course you'd want as much time as possible. You know what I mean, for everything if there's not a deadline.
I mean, out of all these games, the one that affected me the most was Final Fantasy 15, which I waited for that game for years and I wanted it so bad. And I love the game. I still do, despite all of its flaws, of which there are many. But playing through it, it was disheartening to know, there's a roadmap for patches already, and they're gonna fix Chapter 13, and like there's all these problems with the game that they're gonna fix, but if you want that experience, you gotta wait. It's like, I don't want to wait.
I don't want to wait either, right? That's the problem.
And so for me, I played through it, and I'm like, I took it for what it was. And I think that the big question of this whole thing is, what would we rather? The devs and publishers being like, it is what it is. We're out. We're on to the next thing. We'll fix it then, maybe. Or being like, we're gonna do patches. We're gonna do fixes so that when people in a couple of months play it, it will be good for them. What's the right answer? And is it a case by case thing?
I mean, it's a tough question to answer because a lot of games now are building in extended roadmaps for post-launch content to try to see how much they can extend their audience to keep playing the game after release. We see a lot of developers now talk about like monthly DLC updates and free content, that they do community events like logging this weekend and you can play this mission, just this weekend, stuff like that. And I think we're going to only see more of that instead of less. So I don't think a future where like post-launch patches don't exist is ever going to happen.
Yeah, you're constantly, I mean, that's just where we are, right? And that's the thing where people are like, oh, there's a day one. Of course there's a day one patch. It's 2017 now. This happens all the time. When is it not going to have that? It's the fact of we are dealing with this, and this sounds really shitty, but this weird archaic system of like, all right, cool, the game's gone gold a month, 3 weeks before it's going to go live. And it's like, well, no, they're going to continue working on that, especially if they know they can make things better and they can try to fix the animations. They can try to do whatever they want to do. Like, that is the solution, but it then comes down to us as consumers being like, we understand the social contract we have here, right? In terms of like, all right, cool. Like, like for me, I'm the opposite with Mass Effect, where I was like, Mass Effect Andromeda, I can't wait. Got it. I was like, meh, and I then jumped back into Persona, and I was just gone. You know what I mean? And I am one of those people of like, I'm going to get back to that game. I want to get back to Andromeda. So when I'm hearing about this patch, I'm like, oh, great, cool. That's great for me. I'll let them all build up, and then I'll worry about it when it's time for me to worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, the other kind of way to go about fixing the problem is like what Ubisoft's doing with Assassin's Creed. Like when Unity came out like 2 years ago now, and that was was it
3 years? Because they took last year off, right? There was an Assassin's Creed
Syndicate was the last one.
Yeah, but you're talking about Unity, the first next gen one. Right?
Yeah, the first one that like fucked up everything.
With no face and stuff.
Yeah. So like, because I remember we did a topic on the show about broken games a couple years ago, but it was a very different conversation because like then there wasn't the patch roadmap. It was just, it's just broken, and you're just gonna fucking deal with it.
Maybe you'll hear about it. Maybe you won't.
Yeah, but the solution they have is to take the time off and then come back with the next game and fix it, and we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but you know that it's gonna launch with something. I mean, like that's the problem is like you can't. There's no way to test video games like this and not have someone run into something. I mean, think Fallout New Vegas is obviously the most famous example in my history that I can think of just like, who would have thought if you wore that hat that you bought from that guy and you had this other thing equipped and you went on the strip, it would crash the fucking game. You know what I mean? Like you have to have we're all testing a game every time we play a game because well, what the fuck's going on? Is that really a thing? Do we know how to fix that? How do you fix that? And that's the problem of like, as games get more and more complex and there's more and more into them, and there's, it takes years to make these things because there's so many moving parts to them that when you put it all together and you get it out there, and then it's like, like another example of personal example, right, is the fact of like both PS3 and PS4, right? When I have the full friends list, which not many people did back in the day, or now on PS4 in the same way, like, every Housemarque game fucking broke. And like, it was to the point of like people from PlayStation coming to the office at IGN to look at my system and be like, what the fuck? And then it was finally, we figured out that it was trying to ping the servers and that was crashing the game. And the same thing happened with Tetris Ultimate from fucking Soma and Ubisoft, right? Where it was like, all right, cool. And it went on, it was just like chug, chug, chug. And they couldn't replicate that back home because there's no way for them on a test server to say, all right, cool, populate the auto friends list and ping for information, da, da, da.
I totally agree with you. I think the community, though, is angry at the idea of having to pay $60 to be a beta tester, right? Like, so I get why people are mad, but I'm in your camp that like there's no way that the development teams can, project the problems that are going to happen with the game on a global scale when millions of players are finally, have the code in their hands and they're testing it out. And so it's a tough situation. I would say like if you truly are so angry about that games have flaws, then maybe you should look at spending your money elsewhere if it makes you really mad, because I think we all love video games because they're fun, right?
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is I don't think consumers are wrong for feeling like beta testers, right? And I understand where that anger would come from. My counter argument would just be that though, that is where the market is now. It no longer is, hey, I bought this fucking NES cart and I'm going to go home and pop it in and that's the game. Yeah. If something's wrong with it, if there's a game breaking bug, which there were, fuck me, that's the end of it. You know what I mean? Like it is to the point now where it's like those. I remember I was, go back to WWF No Mercy that I bought 4 times and returned over and over and over again to GameStop because there was a bug in it that erased all your progress. And that was finally when I was like, fuck my NES, I'm done. But that was how it was. There was no way for fucking THQ and Jack Pacific to go out and fix it.
Yeah, I mean, we're at a place now where not even Nintendo games are done. You know, every even like Breath of the Wild comes out, day 1 patch 2 days later, there's been another patch. It's like that. It's crazy, but again, that game's different though because it was polished from the beginning and it didn't have the game breaking.
And that's the whole thing with like, and correct me if I'm wrong because you know more about Final Fantasy than I do, but with the most recent Final Fantasy where it was like, oh, Chapter 13 or whatever it is really hard and people hate it. We can fix that. Yeah. So otherwise, it would have just been, Chapter 13 sucks, and that would have been a line in the review and on message boards. And
it's just, I don't know, like that. The Final Fantasy 15 thing is that, and Street Fighter 5 are the ones that are most interesting to me because with Mass Effect, it's just clear. It's just like it wasn't finished. There was problems with it and they just shipped it. With Street Fighter, it feels like that was the best intentions. Like they were trying to give us what we want, like the thing that we've talked about so much of games as a platform. Yeah. Like what's the point of putting out several iterations of Street Fighter 5, which we knew they were going to do? Let's just put out one and keep adding on it and have it be free updates forever after that, and that's what you get, right? Or paid things for more substantial pieces. But then they put it out too bare, and it's like, well, you fucked up from the beginning there. Like now, other people aren't going to try doing that. Like we're not going to see the Gran Turismo platform or Madden platform or whatever because like there's a stigma against it. And then on the side of Final Fantasy, it's like I just wanted to play through the game, and it sucks that like did really nobody know that people don't like Chapter 13? Like that's something that like later you're gonna be like, we're gonna fix that thing that nobody in the fucking reviews liked. It's like you knew that wasn't good. There's no way that like that was just something that everybody was like,
it snuck up on.
It's okay. And like I think that if they stood by it and were like, no, that's in the game, then that'd be one thing. But the fact that they did go back and change it and they did acknowledge that it's a problem, I think that's a problem. Is that when they're going to change something that's like part of the story of the game, like, come on, like that's a different experience for people. Having different animations or like fixing the animations or whatever, that's one thing. Like the shading and stuff, like that's just adding to the experience. But when you're changing the actual experience, I'm not so okay with that.
I don't know. I am. I wish we could do that in more types of media.
Yeah, I mean, I same thing. I go back to it doesn't matter. We just had Marvel Heroes in, right, for Marvel Heroes Omega, and talking to Anthony about that and being someone who's there from beta on. And I'll never forget when David Brevett came in for his second Up at Noon after the game had launched a year later when they were relaunching it as Marvel Heroes 2015, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, great. And he's like, yeah, and he's like, well, and I'm like, why the rename? He's like, well, it wasn't that good when we launched. Like, we launched and we've learned a lot and it wasn't where we wanted it to be, and so we've worked, and now that's why we've put this new thing on, because this is a brand new game and now it's really great. And like, I find that refreshing when a developer is like, yeah, we fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? And we could just wash it and lay everybody off or whatever, but we're gonna get in there and we're gonna do it. And like, yeah, I'm not versed enough in what was wrong with Chapter 13. What was it? It was.
I mean, it was tonally really odd and different.
Okay,
and
okay.
All of a sudden turned into like a weird horror thing.
Okay.
And it was super long and like a maze that there was nothing good about it.
Gotcha.
You know, whereas the rest of the game, there might be a problem here or there, but it was still good.
Ignis
It
was the problem.
just totally stood out. It just was not the problem. But now you can play as him.
45 years old. Why am I hanging out with you? Let me cook food for you.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god.
That was your warning shot.
Yeah.
You pissed me off again. It's right in the face.
I mean, my thing is like, I'm talking about in a Final Fantasy game, you should not be changing a core piece of the story.
Sure.
Like that is the one thing that you should nail. Metal Gear Solid 5 is another example. Where was the end of that game? Why did it not have an end? Like, and that's the thing. If they were to come back and fix it now, it's like, no, too little, too late on that.
Sure.
Like, I would have wanted to wait to get that game as it should be. Instead, you gave me a masterpiece of a game lacking an ending, lacking an entire like third.
Act.
It felt like.
Yeah.
That sucks, you know. But then again, it's like, all right, well, then is the answer just not doing it? I don't know. But the real answer is finish the game
Sure.
before you put it out.
Sure. I hear you.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
It is complicated. I just want a Metal Gear Solid 5 to have a good story. That's all I
Why
wanted.
did you? I mean, you got it fine. Well, you didn't, but
No,
you
I
had a
didn't.
lot of fun. You
No.
played
No,
it.
the
You had a
game
lot
was
of fun.
great. The
Yeah.
gameplay was amazing.
That's why it didn't matter.
The story fucking sucked.
If you want a great story, go play Peace Walker. All right? Best Metal Gear of all time. Hit you right in the watch. I was trying to get a stick.
You did. Next topic. I want to talk about how these companies get their information out there.
These motherfucking companies.
Nintendo,
Yeah.
Sony, Microsoft.
Sure.
They each have varying versions of the same type of thing when it comes to talking to the audience. Nowadays, everyone has YouTube channels. They can put up their own trailers whenever they want. Like PlayStation channels, like pretty legit. Like they release stuff constantly. Nintendo has its directs. Xbox has the Xbox Wire, and Major Nelson just like killing it with all that type of stuff, making it more personality driven while still getting the information out there. But with the amount of conventions there are, where there's E3 being the kind of main one, and then there's still the Paris Games Weeks, the Gamescoms, the TGSs, and all of that, there's pretty much every month something happening. And now even with E3, with people splintering off and doing their own thing with EA Play and Bethesda having its conference and event and all that stuff, like what do you think is kind of the best way for them to get the information of their games out there?
I mean, it depends on the announcement, I think, right? That's the big thing. I mean, to take PlayStation as an example, I love the fact that there's PSX, because PSX is, hey, I want to talk to the people who listen to PS I Love You every week. I want to talk to, if you're so into this one thing, yeah, we want to talk to you about the indies we're bringing to Vita. Fuck yeah. But in the same breath, what is it, 6 months prior, hey, USA Today, here's all these fucking awesome AAA trailers that we're talking about, and we're not going to mention VR, which is weird, but no big deal. We're doing all this awesome stuff, you know what I mean? Like, they have a great balance to it. I don't think they nail it all the time. You know what I mean? The PlayStation blog is great, but I love the idea of Major Nelson. And if I mean, I know Major Nelson, but if I think maybe was more of an Xbox guy, you know, for the last 10 years, I would know more. I would love to see them take the reins off of Sid and Ryan and all of them and let them be personalities. I would love it if they were on the YouTube channel and if you went to the PlayStation blog
guys.
and it was, yeah, exactly. It was them chilling out. You can go to PlayStation blog and read a whole bunch of posts and stuff, but they're PR-y and stuff, and that's not bad. I mean, that's coming from PlayStation. It's an official channel.
I mean, I kind of like that, though. I like that not that they aren't allowed to really have their personalities out there, but I like that the PlayStation blog is a place to kind of get all of the information about games. Like when the Crash Bandicoot trilogy was actually announced or whatever, like I went to the PlayStation site and it had everything. It had more information than I even got from like Activision's press release. And it's just like, because they dived
they're
deeper.
hardcore.
They're hardcore. And it goes into the like, yeah, they're totally remastering the soundtrack and it's going to be this, and that. And like, the PR thing didn't say anything about that.
Sure.
And there's been a lot of other times recently, like when last week when the Uncharted Lost Legacy release date was out there, reading that blog post, it was like, there's a lot more information here directly from the source, from Naughty Dog, that makes this feel different than normal just PR statements.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how we've really shifted from, these big brands always releasing their biggest stuff at E3 on stage at a press conference to now in these 2 months leading up to E3, we're probably going to get most of the big announcements before E3 even gets here.
Destiny 2.
I mean, I think we're going to hear about, Scorpio before E3. We probably won't see it until we get to the stage. But like Nintendo, kind of led the way with saying, hey, we're not going to be doing a press conference at E3 anymore. Instead, we're going to do our Nintendo Directs. They just had a recent one talking about, a lineup for Switch games that are coming out later this year. And, they are kind of marching to the beat of their own drum at E3 too. And even companies like Bethesda that are putting out their stuff. I mean, I didn't expect to see that extensive scene we saw from The Lost Legacy until E3. And Naughty Dog's just like, here's a cool trailer, get your pre-orders in now.
Yeah.
And so I think it's for people like us that, make a living off of speculating on what's going to happen, is really kind of throwing a wrench into the whole situation going, well, when is Xbox going to tell us what their next big first party game is? When are we going to see that trailer? Is it going to be at E3, or are they going to have a standalone event? When are we going to see, new hardware from, PlayStation? Are they going to respond to Scorpio? When is that announcement going to happen? It's been interesting looking at how YouTube specifically has kind of changed the way that these publishers make their big announcements, because before they would go to like your IGNs, your EGMs, your Eurogamers of the world.
Get a cover.
And exactly, or your Game Informer exclusive reveal. And now we're seeing less and less of that because, well, first off, leaks are everywhere. And if they have their own channel, why not just release it there?
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because since there's been this shift away from E3, like E3 is obviously still the big one, but that kind of scares people off to do their own thing as well, so that they can own the moments. And it allows them to put content out in a different way. Like I don't think they would have shown that scene from Uncharted at E3. It was kind of weird just being a random snippet of the story, right? But because it was just the whole post was about Uncharted, they're allowed to kind of do their own thing and then just be graded and like judged and commented on based on, oh, this is just about Uncharted's release date. Cool. Whereas if that was part of a bigger messaging, then it's just like, all right, well, that announcement's not as big as this announcement that it's next to, and compared to this press conference.
Who won Tuesday?
Yeah. So what's interesting, though, is going to the Nintendo side of things, like the Nintendo Directs. I love them because it's just randomly, once a month, maybe once every 2 months, there's just going to be Nintendo news. And they've seen a bunch of different changes over the last couple of years in terms of Directs being their more press conference-y type thing. If we're going to announce a whole bunch of shit over this hour, they've kind of turned into, all right, this is a Direct about Smash Bros. This is a Direct about Mario Kart. And they've really dived deep into those things. But the problem is, because Nintendo Direct used to be this other thing, everyone kind of expects major announcements all the time. It's a Nintendo Direct. We're getting Metroid. We're going to get F-Zero. It's like, no, you're not. Like, stop.
You're going to get ARMS release dates. Shut up.
You're going to get a couple. You're going to get release dates. You're going to hear about a bunch of like smaller titles, and you're going to get Amiibo news. Like, that's the Amiibos have been like the one constant of the Nintendo Directs for the last year. And seeing the new Direct they just did a couple days ago, I'm fascinated by the new style that it took, because this was the first Direct with Koizuma, I think his name is, because before it was Iwata, and that was a very distinct style of how he'd present the information. It was really goofy and stuff. This was way more like news update, where there was actually like headlines behind him that you could see, like, here's all the announcements we're talking about today. And it was a different tone of, it's going to be rapid fire. We're just going to announce a bunch of things. And it reminded me of PlayStation's press conference last year, which was great. And games. And the problem with it is, it was a great Direct. Announced like 20 games coming to the Switch or 3DS, gave a real in-depth look at Splatoon 2 and at ARMS, gave release dates for those. It answered a lot of questions that people had about upcoming Switch titles that are coming very soon, like pre-E3. But then, of course, the reaction to it is like, why they even fucking do this? They didn't announce any of this other stuff. But it's like, it was about Splatoon and ARMS.
Sure.
Right?
But here's my argument, counter argument to that is just the fact that you now got to deal with the fact that you got to educate people like me on what this is. You know what I mean? Like I'm a student of the game. I've paid attention. I know what Directs are, and you talk about them all the time. But I think that Switch has brought in so many people and so many sleeper people who didn't give a shit about Wii U, so they didn't give a shit about Directs. They didn't care that now you're there. You're thinking it's going to be a PlayStation announcement thing. It's going to be some kind of thing, and that's why I always go back to, man, I want to see another one with puppets. Because now that I give a shit about the games and I'm going to play them, I'm like, all right, yeah, I love your system. Give me some puppets. Give me some weird ass Nintendo shit now.
I don't think that people who would maybe be considered a casual Nintendo fan, if they, skipped the last version of Wii and they just got back into Switch because of Zelda, that do they really care about what Nintendo was talking about in their directs anyway? I mean, are they even bothering to watch or read those headlines?
I mean, if you just bought a Switch, I think you are, right? Because you're like, man, I want to play more things on this. What am I going to play on it?
I mean, I think the most people are going to IGN afterwards and looking at what happened in the Direct. They're not actually watching it. I think the people watching the Direct are just not casual game fans, the hardcore game fans that are like people that listen to podcasts and kind of indulge in all that stuff. And what I was saying, the point that I was trying to make is it's interesting to look at Nintendo Directs versus the Uncharted Lost Legacy reveal, where both we're just doing one thing. Like that was for Uncharted, whereas this was for ARMS and Splatoon. But because it was under the Nintendo Direct banner, people didn't receive it the same way.
Gotcha.
They got angry that they didn't get Metroid. Even though all it was just an info dump, it was a PlayStation blog post about those two games, right? And as a fan, I enjoy that we did get a lot more than I expected. I thought it was just going to be those two games. But then the other side of that is it was a bunch of stuff that I don't care about. And I don't know who cares about. But I enjoy that they at least put that information out there and that they announce those games and do kind of celebrate them in a way. Otherwise, I wouldn't know about a lot of the Kirby games coming out or whatever. The Hey Pikmin 3DS platform.
So you like the Directs, or would you prefer a more flashy kind of announcement?
See, no, I think that the Direct, I think what they did with the Nintendo presentation, the Nindies thing last month, which wasn't a Direct, but it essentially was brilliant because they took out the Direct name, so people didn't go into it expecting a press conference, and they got just 15 looks at games coming to the Nintendo Switch, and then a screenshot of 60 logos and here's a lot more. Yeah. Right. And that felt satisfying to everybody because they didn't expect Metroid there. They didn't expect these big announcements. Whereas when
Direct means something. You're saying to the wider gamer audience, Direct means Fire Emblem and Smash, and we're going to get a big thing.
Yeah. And so I just think that had they just called this something different, had they just called this ARMS and Splatoon presentation, I think people would have not disliked it to hell and all that, right? So I do think that Nintendo has a bad style of putting this stuff out because they are so traditional in what they're doing, even in the last couple of years, of being really innovative in how they're putting the information out there. They're just so stubborn in standing to going off the beaten path and being like, we're not doing the E3 press conference. It's like, well, you need to think about how you're delivering the message otherwise.
Well, their last live press conference, no thank you.
No,
just do Directs. Just do Directs from now on. That's fine.
Yeah.
What did you think about Xbox using a single outlet to put out the big news about the Scorpio specs?
So weird. It was. I mean, it's different. No, that was the thing. Is don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was weird in a bad way. It's weird like that cool kid in your class who sits in the back and wears those long black shirts underneath white t-shirts. And you're like, well, that's right. And they draw and they got the hair over there and they make you feel things sexually. You want to?
I don't know.
Kevin, is this hitting home for you? Were you that kid?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Right.
God,
no. God,
Kevin can't wear layers.
No, it was weird, but it made sense. And that was the thing of the announcement of wait, they're doing what? They're doing it over with. And then it was the idea, those guys know what they're talking about with this. Yeah. They're going to be able to speak to it in a way that kind of backfired on the PS4 Pro with, hey, I'm a huge PlayStation fan. I don't get what I'm looking at or why I would buy this thing.
What's a teraflop?
Exactly. Oh, there's so many teraflops in all these things.
And you're totally hitting it on the head there where it's just going to Digital Foundry, they are the guys that know what teraflops are.
Yeah.
And the people going to that site give a shit about that stuff. So for Xbox to make that debut there, talk about all the nerdy specs and have these people give the thumbs up of be like, yo, no, this is good.
Yeah.
It's that's what people like me need to hear.
Yep.
Not some dude like Andrew House coming out and talking about all this stuff where it's okay, well, I don't trust you telling me that it's good because
you don't trust Andy House?
No, not what he's telling me about teraflops and shit that I don't really understand. Whereas these Digital Foundry guys,
what if I threw in Mark Cerny?
Care about Mark Cerny, I'll give it to.
Oh, you're gonna trust? Okay,
he's the chief
trust Mark
architect.
Cerny.
Remember, he's the one who said Knack was good too.
Yeah. Hey, don't hit on Knack.
Oh, Knack
Lord
too.
and Savior.
Knack.
Knack. Yeah. But no, I thought that was a bold move from Microsoft, and I'm very, very interested to see if we do see Scorpio before E3 because I think that this might have been the pre-E3.
This was
thing
it,
that
I
we
think,
saw,
right?
and then E3 being it's kind of debut as like a system.
Yeah, we probably won't see the box on stage until E3, if even at E3. I hope we do.
No, we will. If it's coming out in the fall, you're gonna see the box at E3.
You think so?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're still sticking to this fall in a hard way, not in the like, oh, Persona 5 still coming in 2014 or whatever.
Wink, John Harden, you piece of shit.
It's not John's fault.
Back then it was. He's gone now. But I heard was the one. They were like, can we release this? And he said, no, delay it 5 times. And they're like, but we really want to release it. It's done. And John Harden was like, no. And then they finally overthrew him and got him out of there. Yeah. These are all lies about a PR person you probably don't know.
But yeah, no, it's very interesting that all three guys have such different ways of going about this. And it's funny that like PlayStation's the most traditional, but the most successful, it seems, in getting the information out there and having the most people talk about it.
I mean, what's interesting about it is I wonder, and I don't have the crystal ball, I don't know where the timeline would diverge. I wonder how much longer PlayStation can continue to be successful like this. Because the thing is, PlayStation came out and knocked it out of the park with that PlayStation 4 event. Here's the games, here's what we're doing, here's the E3, here's a funny video with Adam and Shu about how to share. I'm like, you guys are on another fucking level. You are you're destroying this. And then since then, they've started to go back a little bit towards the PlayStation 3 era of like, not making the crazy bad decisions and being assholes about it, but being quieter and not promoting the indies as much. And here are the AAA games. And then we get to PSX, and PSX is normal where it should be. And I think that's the balance. That's the sweet and the sour. But like Xbox, this week being like, all right, cool. Yep. We are now instituting digital refunds. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, that's fucking awesome. Okay. We have fixed backwards compatibility. Oh, that's really cool. All right.
Pass.
Here, Game Pass. Here's the ability to fucking order your custom controllers. Like all these little things that really are goodwill pro gamer choices in a way that PlayStation, we're all still like, all right, it's not cute anymore. Can we change our names? Like that should be something we should do. And I'm not saying that stuff's the Achilles heel, but it's interesting to see Xbox slowly but surely build up all these pieces of gamer goodwill in terms of the fact of, I don't know if it's Scorpio or if it's something else or it's the next generation, if there's a full generation or however this is all going to work from here on out. But I do feel like Xbox and that team really is setting up these dominoes. And I don't know if they'll ever fall because PlayStation's so far ahead with PS4. But if PlayStation does continue to, it seems like they're going back to being quieter, where it seems like I'm seeing more from Phil Spencer now. Like, his post today about the Scorpio. Just, hey, all of a sudden here I am on Xbox Wire. All this information about Scorpio, we'll see at E3 when we show it. And you're like, oh, or Scorpio will be at E3. Like, okay, great. That's cool. And to see them getting out in front of it, it's just interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the last thing I want to say about Nintendo is I think the solution, because I was bitching about the problem, but I do think the solution is focusing more on directs about specific games. And this could have been 2 directs or even just 1 direct that is very clearly called Splatoon and ARMS, and keep Nintendo Direct as a thing that people expect it to be. If you're going to announce the Metroid and you're going to announce the big games and it's more of like a press conference, come out with that. Otherwise, the people are going to be upset about Splatoon because they didn't want to like it anyways, even though Splatoon is a hit and people buy it. And more people are going to buy Splatoon 2. Like, I bet Splatoon 2 outsells Splatoon 1.
Oh my God. Yes.
It'll be its lifetime. But the thing is, Splatoon 1 sold super well for a Wii U game, but even at 5 million, like almost 5 million, like that's...
I had no idea it sold that many.
Yeah.
The people who love Splatoon love Splatoon.
That's the thing. Splatoon 1 on Wii U is like at 4.7 or something like that last I checked.
I'm sorry. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny Morning Show for April 13th. One of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Kevin. What are you doing? VLC doesn't even know what's happening back there anymore.
Whoops.
But
I love you, Kevin.
I think that like Nintendo does a bad job of telling people that didn't know it sold that well that it did. Like people, they just kind of expect that, like, oh yeah, it's Splatoon.
What's happening?
People are gonna like that.
Kevin's fixing everything. Don't worry, Kevin's on it. That's how it happens sometimes. Garbage truck on fire.
But ARMS is another example. Is when you see ARMS next to like in a press conference, like when they revealed it for the first time, it's a fucking joke, and people are like, "What the fuck is this shit? I want Metroid."
Yeah. Yeah.
But ARMS could be a hit, and it could be another Nintendo character-driven IP that people really like Splatoon, if they play their cards right. Why are you shaking your head?
It's not gonna be a hit.
But that's what everyone said about Splatoon, and 5 million on the Wii U, which only sold 13 million, is pretty good.
I know.
Right?
ARMS ain't gonna do it.
I mean, even looking at PS4 game sales, like what's the top selling PS4 game? Uncharted, which is at like 8 million.
Digital or retail?
Overall.
We're talking about an exclusive, or are you talking about first? I mean, can it be a third party?
Doesn't matter.
I mean,
Either
'cause
way.
it would be probably Call of Duty then, wouldn't
Yeah.
I
it?
think so, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an exclusive.
Exclusive would be Uncharted. Nothing got sold more than 8 million.
What's Horizon's off to like a crazy start though.
Yeah, but Horizon.
I know. I'm just.
But even then,
we're
though,
just talking through the
even-
math, Tim.
Horizon hasn't sold as
Wait,
much
this
as
is a
Splatoon.
noble thing.
I understand. I'm just saying I was talking through the math. I wasn't make the real
Let me see if
argument.
I could look it up really quick.
Andrea Rene gonna look up what's the best-selling PlayStation 4 game.
Oh, dang it.
If Colin Moriarty was here, he would say it immediately.
He would have it all.
But he wouldn't really know. He would just say it, and we would all be like, "Oh, it must be right." 'cause Colin said it.
That's true. And I also want to make sure that Splatoon sold as much as I.
You can check that too. I'll talk to
Saying
the
it
audience
did.
and hey, everybody, it's me, Greg. How you doing? I don't say anything that involves numbers, so I don't have to check them or do math. If I had another dart right now, I'd call Andy and shoot at his face. Now, for the record, I was shooting at
All
Tim's
the
chest
darts
that
are on
time,
the
but it
ground
went right
now.
by his eyeball. So this is a very dangerous toy, and that's why it's in the knockoff.
Uncharted 4 Thief's End sold 8.7 million copies, followed by Horizon Zero Dawn at 2.6, followed by Killzone Shadowfall.
So we're talking
at
about
2.1.
exclusives, or we're talking about like just games in general?
Exclusives.
Okay.
Those are just exclusives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, granted, there's a lot of third-party games that sell super well. Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Assassin's
very
Creed,
point.
like all it does start
Actually,
going from there.
GTA might be the highest selling.
God,
Now that we say
GTA 5
that.
is the highest selling
game.
of
Yeah,
all
yeah,
time.
but
So
I mean, that's
imagine
including everything.
all
though.
SKUs are.
Yeah, you imagine. Yeah. It was
Doesn't matter which.
always on top.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go.
What do you got
Uncharted.
for Splatoon?
Splatoon, 4.76 million.
There you go. Yeah.
But that impresses me. When
Oh,
you
no,
compare-
totally.
Granted,
I mean, that's a
Horizon's only been
great
out
number.
for
A couple months.
a couple months, and Splatoon was out for years.
One
The
month,
only
actually.
the thing what you're talking about here is the interesting part of I think Splatoon is going to sell incredibly well at launch because more people are excited about their Switches than they were their Wii U's. But the problem is, lifetime, how many Wii U's are in the install base, but there's not 5 million Wii or Switches out there for people to
Exactly.
buy the fucking game on.
Yeah, so that's why the lifetime thing.
Lifetime
once,
makes sense.
Once there's bundles.
But even like
and all
first
that
week
stuff.
sales and stuff like that would be interesting to see, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and for ARMS as well. And ARMS comes first. ARMS has a release date now of June 16th. So
If anybody out there buys ARMS, I'll break your legs.
that's
I just thought it'd be funny, but ARMS isn't going to sell. Let me know in the comments below if you're excited for ARMS.
it ain't about that. It's about I'm saying it could be a hit. In the same way that Splatoon was, because everyone had the same reaction to Splatoon that they do to ARMS.
No, I disagree.
What?
Yeah, I think more people were outward about how much they loved Splatoon than they have been about ARMS.
You're talking about after it came out.
No, I'm talking about like people like games critics who played the game in advance of its release. Everyone I know that played that game came away liking that game.
But
A lot of people I know have done nothing but make fun of ARMS.
that have played it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't buy this. I don't buy.
Remember, this is the
being
guy who
an
likes
IGN
snipper clips.
No. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying ARMS is a bad game.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying ARMS is a good game.
Shade.
I'm just saying that when I remember being at IGN when the direct happened and they announced Splatoon, laughs, groans, everybody was just like, "Are you fucking
Yeah,
kidding
the
me?"
squid jokes. Yeah, I know.
The whole thing, and that was all.
Fran
Splatoon was
Mirabella
riding.
inked himself.
He did, but then of course the people that play it love it. That's because that's what Nintendo fanboys do,
True.
True.
right? But anyways, final topic, as always, brought to you by you. You can go to kindoffunny.com/Gamescast topic and leave your topics for all of us. And also, thank you to all our Patreon supporters. Kevin just gave me the beautiful
This
motion,
thing,
which tells me to
lift it up.
thank them. And thank you to Tom Bach for being the Patreon producer on this show. You guys can support us. Patreon.com/kindoffunnygames.
Thanks, Tom.
Make all the
Tom was
magic
on
happen.
the show.
Tom was on the show and he killed it.
Yeah, he was great.
Fantastic. Fantastic, man. Well, all these questions are for you.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
let's start them off right. Prith Vanek says, as you are the biggest Mass Effect fan I know, is Mass Effect Andromeda worth looking at,
Ooh.
even though I haven't played games like Zelda yet?
Yes, absolutely. I have said at length that it does have a ton of problems, but at its core, it's still a really great game. And while I have been frustrated by some of its technical issues, I'm still going to go back eventually and play it again. I just am not immediately enticed to go back as I have been with previous Mass Effect games. And I think that is in part two reasons. One, I want to wait until all of the patches get in place. And two, there's just a lot of really good stuff to play right now.
Yeah.
So,
Too much good stuff.
yeah. Yes, if you like Mass Effect at all, I highly recommend going and playing it.
Andy Cortez.
Give me the dart.
Can you go get Andy, Kev?
Yeah.
I need his feedback on this because he is the second biggest Mass Effect fan I know. I need you. I need you. Come
Whoa,
here.
calm down,
Come
Chief.
here. Bring that hair over here.
okay.
Andy, So she's the number 1 Mass Effect fan. You're the number 2 Mass Effect fan.
I guess.
As the number 2 Mass Effect fan in the world, have you played Mass Effect Andromeda yet?
I'm about 6 hours in right now.
And
Only
what are your
6
thoughts
hours?
now?
Well, I wanted to start after the patches went through, and also like I had Zelda going. I was like, I don't need to start Mass Effect right now.
Sure.
How
What do
many
you think is
times
6
did
hours?
You
What do
see
you
Andy
think?
Cortez tweet about Mass Effect before Andromeda came out, and this is his response. That's what happens when you fuck your game up.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh my god. There's so much happening.
The thing about Mass Effect is there's I know you got a lot of questions there, but everything you love about BioWare and the Mass Effect series, the camaraderie with your crewmates and the loyalty missions and the really great blend of serious content with, humor mixed in, all of that's there. All of it's there, and the multiplayer is back if you really like the multiplayer in Mass Effect 3, and you do have to kind of trudge through some murky stuff to get to the good content, but it's worth it in the end.
The thing I was telling them, I think when we did that initial impressions, I think I made it 12 hours before I switched over to Persona, and it was that I like what's here. I like the core of this game. I like Ryder. I like the Pathfinder. I love the idea of Andromeda. I do like the group. And one of my favorite memories so far was just reading the crew's initial emails to each other in their thing of them bitching about everybody and who was doing what inside of the place. And it was like, this is why I'm going to come back, because I do like this. And it wasn't that, oh my God, the animations in this. It was just like, you see all that, and it's just like, ooh, this doesn't feel like Mass Effect, because Mass Effect always was so polished and so great and so enthralling in terms of I'm never pulled out of the experience. I feel it all the time. And for initially, I'm like, okay, this is good. It's just not great like I expected it to be.
Right.
And so that's why I was able to put it down, but why I totally intend to get back to it.
The hashtagonist says, "How are you so good at amplitude? Like seriously, that shit is unnatural."
Oh, the hashtagonist. He's great. That's just years of practice, hours and hours, as you know. It's starting over if you make a single mistake. It's like the start, restart, like pause, restart.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake, if you want to get, that 90 to 100% accuracy, you gotta stop and quit and start over when you make a mistake.
You just got to get in that zone.
Yeah.
And just feel it and not even look at the screen. You're like, what's happening?
Yeah. You do have to kind of get to a higher mental state and really kind of let the rhythm flow through you.
Lose yourself to the music.
We still need to do the Let's Play of me and you.
We do. I
amplitude.
would need to do a little bit of
I haven't played
practicing. I haven't played in a while.
I don't like the multiplayer though. I don't do all that stuff. We'd have to do some a score based thing where it's
Yeah, I think the multiplayer in a rhythm and music game like that is so hard to get right because even the tiniest bit of lag will throw off your accuracy and your ability to beat match properly. And while Harmonix is excellent at their rhythm and music mechanics, they can't account for internet problems, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one day they should figure it out for Amplitude 2.
Yeah,
Even
right.
though I will say
that.
the new Amplitude doesn't have multiplayer online. It's just local.
But I mean, even the local though, it was always too much for me. It was because I played with you once at a preview event long ago, and it was just too much going on. Where I'm like, I just want to play. There's already enough going on in Amplitude.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, all of the the weapons and attacking and stuff.
Yeah,
it's just too much to handle.
Power-ups and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's fun, but I'm more of a single player guy when it comes to that. Endigo Skyborn says, since you spent such a long time at game trailers, would you consider doing something with the Easy Allies guys?
I would love to. Brandon Jones, if you are watching, please give me a call. I would love to come by. Those guys are great. And, I'm so happy for all the success that they've had. And it was a really sad time being at Defy when, the news came in that they were going to shut down. And I'm really glad that they were able to quickly transition to doing their own thing because they have such a great community, and the Game Trailers audience is wonderful. I still get people who reach out to me from the stuff I did at GT, and I miss it. I miss that crew a lot. They're all really great.
So how much did you work with those guys because that was back when you were still in LA at that time, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was, I was splitting my time between Smosh Games and Game Trailers for a while until I moved up to the Bay, and then I was working exclusively with Game Trailers. So I would shoot with them remotely once or twice a week. So we would do the Just Played was kind of our, impression show where I would get on with Brandon and maybe a couple other people, whether it be, Bloodworth or Kyle or any of the other guys there. And we'd talk about what we had just played. obviously.
I get the title.
But they had their content set when they came over. You know, when Defy acquired Game Trailers from Viacom, like they had their shows, and like Kyle had his show, and you know they had their reviews team set up, and you know they had their own thing going on, and I was just very grateful to be a small part of that team. So.
And I was in the same building as Smosh Games, right?
Yeah, they all were in the same building.
That's crazy, man. Have you been there before?
Yeah.
Such an interesting area.
Yeah, because
Or it was,
Clever
I
is
guess.
there too. So all of like the women's content that they do, and then the Ami stuff and Honest Trailers. Like,
Yeah.
they're all under that same umbrella.
Did you ever work with Elise when she was part of Game
Yeah.
Trailers?
Elise
Elise.
produced a mini series called Ladies in the Lobby. You can watch it on YouTube. It's like a 9-episode series, I think, or 7 episodes, where it was all these different women from across the games industry talking about, you know, different topics in games. It's actually a really well done show. She's great.
She is. She's one of the funniest people I've ever
Yeah,
met.
her sense of humor is so dry in the best way. And she always has these really witty things to say all the time. I wish I could have gotten the chance to work with her more. She's really awesome.
We got to put her on the list. We got to get her here.
Elise.
Elise Willems. Funhouse.
Yeah,
Who house?
she's on
Elise?
Funhouse now.
I hate you so
what now?
much. I fucking hate you.
Never heard of. Oh, you mean Achievement Hunter?
I hate you.
The good guys?
So goddamn
Oh, they're really
much.
funny.
MLS Reserve says, why is Nintendo simultaneously amazing and bafflingly strange?
Japan.
That's the answer.
That really is the answer, though. Man, for everything they do right, they do like 3 things wrong. And it's just like, but that one thing was really right.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, but those 3 things were really wrong.
Yeah, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I mean,
Yeah.
they're getting there. They're one of the oldest game companies out there. And, you know, they've weathered the storm for decades of this industry. And it's changing so rapidly that sometimes when you're, you know, that established, you move really slowly. So,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Was interesting about them is I feel like you mentioned earlier, they've been marching to their own beat for so long that like I kept saying about Wii U, and I mean it about Switch too, and I don't mean it to be an insult, but like I think Nintendo's great at making toys. I don't know if they think they make video games. I think they think that they make toys, because 1-2 Switch is a great toy. It's not a great video game, but it's fun and you bum around.
It's an okay toy.
You just played with Gia, and Gia didn't like having fun.
She
That's on
sucked at
you.
It.
Yeah.
Sucked so bad. It was so upsetting.
No, everybody else who is good enjoys it. You
I
know what
beat
mean?
her in yoga.
That's
There's something wrong with this.
Well, yeah, well, I didn't say, again, it's a good toy. It's not a good yoga simulator. You know what I mean? And that's just
Yeah.
what they are. But like, do they want? Like, I think fans for so long have wanted them to be great at video games again. You know what I mean? Where it'd be that Switch is coming up, and I hope it's this, and I hope it's that. And it's like, well, it's probably not going to be those things, because that's not what they've done. And I don't think they've had that. We need to wake up and change moment. I think if they when they're like, you know what, we got to drastically change things, I think they're just going to go third party.
Yeah, I mean, they're in an interesting place. I was getting my haircut today at a barbershop.
A Nintendo barbershop?
Not even a Supercuts. And everyone around, like someone was like, oh, dude, they got Switches at the Best Buy. And like everyone in the barbershop was like one dude mid haircut.
No way, really?
He was like,
He just runs off with like the thing attached to
he
him.
literally, he asked, he was like, hey, like, if I were to leave now, could I come back? And she's like, oh, I'm booked all day, or whatever. And he's like, fine. So he stayed. He didn't do it. But I
How
thought
close
that
was
was
this,
really
how
cool.
close is the barbershop to Best Buy?
It's about the Harrison Best Buy. It was pretty close.
Okay.
It wasn't far from it. But
are
I mean, it would've
Switches
been
that
okay.
hard to get? I thought that they were still readily available.
Nah, they're still it's rare to find them out there.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a really funny conversation, but it was like, these are just normal people.
Sure.
I assume.
Normies.
You know what I mean?
Normies.
But everyone in the
Normies.
barbershop was like excited about this thing. And it was like, whoa, like I haven't seen that in the public since the Wii.
Yeah,
So,
it's a sign they're onto something.
yeah.
That was the weird thing when I went to Missouri after the announcement of the name switch, that first trailer. And I got there to my, friends from college who don't play video games, who, they run a small business. She works for the University of Missouri and has 4 children now,
Lord.
3 kids. And it was like bouncing her newborn on her. She's like, and so what's this Nintendo Switch I was hearing? I'm like, how did you fucking hear about the Switch? You know what I mean? Let me
From
tell
the
you about
nightly news.
PlayStation VR. That's what we got to talk about. Gary the Gull.
Carry the goal. So this comes from More Saiyan, who tweets this question at me every single week for the Nintendo game or for the Kind of Funny Gamescast, and especially when I have guests, he asked me this: what new features does Andrea think should be implemented for the next Armored Core?
We were talking about this before we started recording. I'm not going to answer that because there should be no new features.
You just what?
They
what-
should stop it.
Oh,
They should
okay,
Stop
okay.
Armored Core.
Just
Because my
altogether.
thing is,
Done.
is there
It's
any
over.
Armored Core fan we could get on this show to answer this question?
One day you ask that question and it's like, yeah, it's Elise, and she's just like, let me tell you. 30 minutes later.
Kyler Williams says, "What is your favorite video game of all time?"
I definitely don't have one all-time favorite. I have kind of like a top 10. But some of my near and dears are Mass Effect 2 obviously is one of my like really all-time favorite games. I've put a lot of hours into that.
It's a great one.
Portal 2 also probably one of the most perfect games ever created. Very excellent. BioShock, wonderful game. I actually played that a couple of years after it came out.
Oh, really?
I didn't play it when it first came out because I wasn't that into shooters until probably like 8 years ago. And so I didn't play it when it originally came out. Excellent game. Mario Kart 64, probably the best Mario Kart in my opinion.
Double Dash.
It's okay.
Double Dash.
Wow.
We can agree to disagree. I thought that was an excellent game. The only GTA that I really ever played to completion more than once was Vice City. Excellent game. No, last time maybe it wasn't last time I was on the show. I got a lot of heat from your community about my comments about GTA 5, but GTA Vice City, I don't know. Maybe it was like the Miami Vice of it all that I really loved.
Definitely helped.
Excellent game. And then, of course, the rhythm and music games, Guitar Hero, Rock Band 2, Guitar Hero 3 specifically.
Oh my God, I love you.
Yeah.
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 Guitar Hero
Mary,
3.
back off.
Guitar Hero 3 it does not get enough love because it was the first Neversoft one.
Right.
And everyone was just like, it's now, this is like the Arkham Origins of the whole thing. It's like, no, man, this shit.
It was
Guitar Hero
really
3
good.
set list was so good and it felt tighter than
Yeah.
than the other ones. They fucking nailed it. Guitar Hero 1 was like, it was great at the time, but when you went back and played it, it just felt wrong. Like 2 started getting it really right, and then 3 was the
I
sweet
liked
spot.
the new guitar that they put out. The
wireless one?
Yeah,
Yep.
Nice.
the Gibson looking one. I really loved that guitar. The buttons were better than the one that came out with GH2. But yeah, the Rock Band guitars never quite
That was the thing.
equal
I
the
remember
Gibson.
buying
yeah.
the Guitar Hero
The
wireless.
clickiness
and just,
was
like,
way
tossing the
better
game.
on the
Yeah.
Guitar Hero guitar than on the Rock Band guitars.
No.
Sorry, John. Don't be mad.
No, that's true, though. That's true, John. You should have fixed that.
So that's just like a couple. I mean, if I had more time to think about it, I could think
That's
of
great,
a bunch
no.
more.
I mean,
but-
that is a list, though. I want to talk about Mario Kart, though, because I feel like there's some dissension
What are you
here.
going to pick?
I don't know. That's my problem. Is I don't think that I have a Mario Kart that I would stick to as being the best. Like, it's funny, you said Mario Kart 64, and I went, even though I would probably say Mario Kart 64, if only for the battle mode and the amount of hours put into it.
Battle mode. The Rainbow Road in that version is just so epic.
Unforgiving.
Yeah.
That's
it's
what's great about
Oh,
it.
I know, no.
though.
That's what you want out of a Rainbow Road. You want to be punished.
Yeah.
You want everybody going incredibly slow, trying to figure
Yeah.
out when to go and when to
Well,
do.
it's like Wario Stadium too, like that one jump that if you could make it the shortcut, you could win like every time.
Yeah.
And then how if you tried to make the jump but somebody, hit the lightning bolt or whatever and shock
and you
everybody,
just-
how
yeah, perfect time, you're
you'd be
fucked.
screwed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just so good.
My Crash Team Racing, I got to give the shout out to because I
not
stand
kart, it's
by
not Mario
it
Kart.
is the
It's-
superior
what's
kart
the best
racing
Mario
game. But in
Kart?
terms of Mario Kart, I think I might give it to 8. Like, I know that's not a popular opinion, but I think that 8 is it's polished to a fault. And I think with the amount of courses there and just like the amount of variety in like the characters that it offers and the items, the balance of it just feels better to me than a lot of the other games. Like Double Dash, it feels broken because of the characters being tied to items. Like I think that like there was something about 8 that there was multiple characters with the same stats that you can use. So it's a lot more fair. And again, the polish is just great. The music's awesome. It looks amazing. I can't wait for it on Switch.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is you probably aren't wrong. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the thing about Mario Kart is they get better every time because they learn from each other and they expand and they do something different. 8 just being the one that as much as I love kart, I just couldn't motivate myself to play the Wii U, and I was just like But I can't wait for April 28th when I will beat the living fuck out of Zyger right here on Twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. I'm taking Sean Pitts $50 and then I'm taking on the rest of you. Keep talking shit all day long, all afternoon. What you gonna do when I come for you, brother?
Shout out to Mario Kart DS as well.
Yes.
That was a really good one.
I'll
That
never-
one might be the best one in terms of like if you had to review them all and give them like numbered things.
But remember,
I think
snaking
DS.
wasn't it? Yeah, snaking was
True.
a big problem.
That's true.
But I'll never forget waiting in line for my Wii, to my Wii pre-order, and the guy next to me had Mario Kart, and I hadn't picked it up yet, and he did the thing where like, oh, you can play with me, and we just sat there and I was like, this is awesome. You can share this with 3 other people. They don't even need the cart. That's amazing.
Nico Fugslug.
Nico.
Fugslug. What was your game of the year last year?
Last year, Game of the Year, Uncharted 4.
Yep.
I know it got, some flack for some people for not being, more innovative. But I mean, it was probably the most beautiful game I've ever seen before Horizon came out. It was excellent. There was a lot of games that I didn't finish last year because I was playing too much Paragon.
You still are.
I still am playing too much.
I saw you last
Paragon.
night. When I was on PSN. You're playing Paragon. Of course you are.
I know. I got to start Persona, but Paragon keeps drawing me in. Yeah, it was excellent. It was a really great game. If you haven't played it yet, why not? You should play it.
You're fucking up.
I kind of want to go back and play it on a harder difficulty. But yeah, it was beautiful. It was great.
Final question from the day comes from King Bet. Have you been enjoying the tweets of medicated John Drake? It's been a highlight of 2017 for sure.
Amazing.
I have not just been getting his tweets. I've been living that for 2 weeks. But luckily now that prescription is done. He is out of those medications. He's out of those drugs.
When it first started, I'm like, these have to be fake. And then as they went on and he started texting me, like unprovoked, I was like, no, this is real.
This is real.
He is enjoying this pain medication.
There's a reason why they're a controlled substance, right? But for the people who, are your fans who maybe don't know, my husband, John Drake, works for PlayStation. He, at PAX East, at Paxomania, ruptured his Achilles, which is quite a brutal injury. And it was weird. He was just jumping up and down. He wasn't even like he was making contact with another player or anything. And we had to go to the emergency room in Boston, and the doctor immediately was like, "Yep, your Achilles has detached. Sorry."
That doesn't sound fun at all.
Basically, like the test is like, so you lay down and then they squeeze the calf muscle of your non-injured leg and your foot moves, like a reflex test. And then they squeeze the calf on his injured leg and there was no movement. And the doctor's like, "That's not good." Got an X-ray. Yep. It's fully ruptured.
Oh my God.
So he had to have surgery, reconstructive surgery to get it fixed. So he's now in his walking cast and on the road to recovery, and hopefully we'll have his boot off by E3.
My God. Send some sweet nasty love.
Man,
to
Paxomania at PAX
Claims
East.
another victim.
Another victim.
Yeah.
Cursed.
Oh man. Well, Andrea, thank you very much for joining us
Oh,
yet
thanks for
again. Thank
having
you
me,
for
guys.
the
No, please, it's a pleasure.
Easter goods.
Don't be a stranger. Come back more often.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? I'm just down the road.
Good.
Let me know.
Yeah. All right. Until next time. I love you. Hope you enjoy that episode. You can click here to subscribe to Kind of Funny Games. You can click there to subscribe to Kind of Funny. You can click here to support us on Patreon. You can click there for some stuff that I'm not sure, but I'm sure that Kevin's going to put something fun there. Bah! What if you click here?